Hi, I'm Brenda, and welcome back to Daily Dose Of. So I asked you guys on social media to submit any questions you had about Coachella, and I got so many answers! So turns out I don't really have any followers on social media. Could you tweet me some questions about Coachella, please? Alright, first question. At Malaysia May 23 asks, how much are Coachella tickets? So general admission is $429 and VIP is $999. There's two different sets of sales. The first one happens mid-June or so, the year before Coachella, and that's the only time you can do a payment plan, which is basically you pay for the amount of the ticket in 7 equal payments from, I think, 1 per month all the way until December. The only downside to that is you have to buy your tickets before the lineup comes out, so you have to really trust that you want to go to Coachella. They have another sale in January where you have to buy the full price ticket at checkout. Second question is from Malaysia May 23. What are the options, pros and cons of staying at Coachella versus a hotel? So basically there's two different ways to stay at Coachella, one through camping and one through Airbnb/hotel. There's definitely pros and cons to both. At a hotel, the pro is you can shower, you have AC, and it's definitely a lot more comfortable. You have a real bed. But the downside is it's not within walking distance to the festival grounds. So you're gonna have to get either a shuttle pass or take a really surged prices of Uber. The camping grounds are within walking distance to the festival grounds, so something that I did when I went last year was I can kind of walk back and forth. If I wanted to go there at 2 p.m. to see a lineup and then maybe come back before like some other sets that start around 7 or 8, and I come back, eat a little, relax a little, and then go back to the festival grounds. If I was staying at a hotel or Airbnb, I really wouldn't be able to do the back and forth. Malaysia May 23 asks, how much are shuttle bus tickets and when is the latest I can buy them? Also, how should I time my flight with catching the bus? So there's two types of shuttle bus tickets. There's the airport shuttle bus, which takes you from LAX to the camping grounds, and it's going to cost you $140, $70 each way. This is not to be confused with the Anytime, Anyline shuttle bus. This one takes you from the festival grounds to a variety of hotels nearby that they have a list of on the website. That one is kind of like previous when I was telling you about hotels that you kind of needed to get a shuttle. That's the pass you get to get in between that. But if you want to be able to get to the airport to the festival, you're going to have to take the airport shuttle bus. They'll list it all on the website, but don't get confused because there are two shuttle bus types. So the airport to festival grounds only happens on Thursday at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. So definitely time your flight accordingly, as well as from the campgrounds to LAX only happens on Monday morning at 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. So I would recommend that you book on Thursday an earlier flight and a later shuttle bus, just in case the flight has any delays. I would just take the 6 p.m. shuttle, and even if you land at 2. On Monday, I would take the 2 a.m. shuttle, even if you have a later flight, just in case maybe there's traffic, maybe you miss the 2 a.m. and need to catch the 9 a.m. It's always better to give yourself the most travel time as possible because you don't want to be stranded in the desert of California. Malaysia May 23 asks, how in advance should I wait for a major headliner? So last year the main headliner I wanted to see was Lady Gaga. I went about 3 hours before her set when Bon Iver was still playing, and as soon as he finished, there was obviously a bunch of people who left because they wanted to see his set, and then there was a huge stream of people who just stayed and then rushed towards the stage. So most people were probably thinking along the same lines as me, and even being there 3 hours ahead of time, I think I was still maybe 50 or so feet away from the stage. And that's about as close as I wanted to get because I didn't want to be too close in case it was like a mosh pit and then I would never be able to leave. Although 50 feet away, you still can't really leave. So definitely make sure you've eaten, you have water, and you've gone to the bathroom beforehand, because once you're there, you just can't get out of the crowd. Or if you leave the crowd, you definitely can't get your spot back. Malaysia May 23 asks, what items should I and shouldn't I bring to camping? So of course you should bring a tent, which is what we did. Make sure that if you're flying in, your tent folds down to be a carry-on size unless you're going to be checking luggage. Another thing that a lot of people around us had was those canopy tents, so then you can have a lot of shade, because the only thing about being out in the desert is the sun is so intense. At about 8 a.m. it's already too hot to be in your tent. So when we kind of exited our tent, there was no shade at all, but then the tent was too hot, so So a lot of people around us had those kind of canopy tents that they could chill under. They had chairs, they had coolers, they had blankets set up, and it was really rough to just sit in the sun. So despite the fact that it gets really hot and about 100 or so degrees during the day, it does get really chilly at night. So I ended up buying these aluminum sleeping bags that kind of make you look like you're wrapped in foil, and it's really good at insulating the heat. So I bought those, and then I bought a tapestry, and I think Leo bought a blanket, and so we wrap ourselves in the blanket and then kind of tuck ourselves in the aluminum sleeping bag, so it's not as like uncomfortable, because you don't want to be like touching the foil, but you don't want to not have it because it does get very cold. As for what not to bring, when they ship your wristbands to you, they ship you a whole booklet, and there's pages with long lists of things of not to bring to Coachella. So basically it ranges anywhere from weapons to mirrors. Make sure you kind of read that carefully, because when you're entering the campgrounds, they have intense security where they kind of go through all your stuff, and there's just piles of things next to security of things that people brought and couldn't bring in, and one of those was mirrors, and a lot of people were so intense, and there was literally full body mirrors, and I was like, how did you bring that to the desert? But you know, you want to look good for the next day's shows. Malaysia May 23 asks, what clothing should I pack? Is it always hot? So it definitely does get really hot during the day. It was easily 100, 102 degrees, and I don't think there's any clouds, and there's certainly no other shade. You don't really want to bring just a tank top because the sun is super intense and you don't really want to get sunburned, so I recommend something super airy. I was really into bringing dresses and lace tops. Leo had some white button downs, so this way you can protect yourself from the sun, but it was also breezy enough to kind of let the air flow. Definitely at least pack a hoodie and some sweatpants because it does get chilly at night, like I said, and you don't want to be sleeping in shorts and a tank because it's too cold for that. Malaysia May 23 asks, how many people and items can I fit in my camping spot? So it's a 10 by 15 feet camping spot, and you just kind of have to be mindful about how big your tent is, and you can fit as many tents as you want, so it doesn't have to be like, you know, only 2 person per camping site. If you can fit everybody on it, go for it. Malaysia May 23 asks, are there stores in the area? So there's free shuttles that take you from the campgrounds to a nearby supermarket called Ralph's. This was super handy not only for the food, but also just to charge my electronics. They do have charging tents around the campgrounds, but it's so crowded and the power is super slow because it's powered by either a truck or, I don't know, some kind of like portable generator. Whereas Ralph's is a real store, so the outlets charge at a normal pace. They also had kind of like a cafe, deli-ish area where you can get pizza, sandwiches, salads, and you can eat your meals there, and the best part is it was air conditioned. So what I would do is wake up in the morning, get ready, get changed, and then take my makeup bag, go to Ralph's, and while I'm also buying some food, we just sit there, relax, do my makeup, and kind of enjoy a little bit of air conditioning before we have to go back out and fight the heat. Oh, something you should definitely buy while you're at Ralph's is gallon water bottles, because they don't let you take a filled water bottle into the Coachella ground itself. So from the campgrounds, there's another set of security before you enter the festival grounds, and when you enter, they make you pour all the water out just in case it's alcohol or something. But definitely carry around one of those gallons, because inside the festival grounds, there's water filling stations, but you just get so thirsty because it's so hot and the lines are so long, where you should just carry around the gallon. Like, don't think that it's too heavy, just do it. Or you can buy one of those Camelback backpack water bottles. I'll link it down in the description. I saw a lot of people with that, and it comes with like this little straw that you can kind of carry around your water and hydrate whenever, and I think it also keeps your water cold, so that was definitely something that I saw around that was very, very cool. Malaysia May 23 asks, can I shower there, or are we just gonna be funky all weekend? So there are free showers on the campgrounds, and they're kind of like a portable trailer type stalls, and in certain lots, so the campground is divided into a bunch of lots. They'll give you a map when you first arrive. In certain lots, there's certain showers that have hours of operations, and then in a few lots, there are 24-hour showers. Just be careful because the lines do get super long since everybody camping wants to be showering, and I think there's a time limit on it as well. Definitely purchase some baby wipes and some refreshing face mist, because despite showering, it's still super dusty. Oh, that's another thing. Pack a bandana because it's so dusty. I ended up just coughing so much. Like, you don't think you need it until you need it. And the last question is asked by Malaysia May 23. How close are our tents to our neighbors? Because I'd have to throw hands if someone stole my stuff. The campground is basically just a big grassland that's gridded, and the campgrounds are very, very close to one another. where there's no space in between. But Coachella does offer lockers that you could pay to lock your stuff in. I never used those, so I'm not too familiar with where the location is and if it's convenient or worth the fees or not, but it depends. I usually just carried around my electronics and valuable possessions with me. Well, my electronics were my only valuable possessions because I just didn't bring anything else. Like I didn't bring a computer and I didn't bring expensive jewelry. I just brought my phone, my camera, and everything else. I was like, I guess if it got stolen, it would suck, but I would get over it. Aside from the lockers, there's kind of no way to protect your stuff, but I would like to think that it was like a really friendly environment where no one was really trying to steal other people's stuff. It was more like we were all there to just listen to music, be in the desert, eat yummy food. Alright, that is all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you all for submitting them. If you're going to Coachella this year, have an amazing time, which I know you will because Beyonce's headlining and oh my god, I'm jealous. If you're thinking about going in the future, I hope you have a lot of fun. Remember, it is tough and it was kind of survival of the fittest in terms of weather, but the experience was absolutely unforgettable. I went last year. I have a vlog. I'll link it up here if you just kind of want to check out the first-hand knowledge of what it was like. Thank you guys so much for joining me on a Sunday. I will see you Wednesday for another episode. Bye bye bye!